Assalamu alaikum friends, how are you? A famous, renowned columnist, scholar, Haroon Rasheed once said that there are basically two problems in Pakistan, and all the troubles and all the problems are does spring out of these two problems. All the problems, all the troubles in the society, in the country, are because of the two reasons, are because of the two basic troubles. And if at all the two of these basic troubles are ended, what is going to happen then? What will happen that all the problems will get automatically solved, according to Haroon Rashid. And I found lot of weightage in it. And this is the reason that I have decided to speak on the subject. He says, first of all, there are wrong priorities. Priorities are wrong. Obviously, the resources in the country are very limited. And because of these limited resources, we have to spend, consume all of these resources in quite a careful manner. But the trouble here in this country is that our priorities are wrong, not the right priorities at all. Due to the wrong priorities, I think that we are doing the things which are unnecessary or which are having the very little necessity and not beyond that at all. The second thing what he said is it is the corruption. First one is the wrong priorities, and second thing is the corruption. And if at all we think a bit deeply, we will come to a conclusion that both of these things are absolutely right, and we will come to a conclusion that even if at all there are 200 problems or there are 50 problems, if at all there are 20 problems, all the problems spring out of these two basic reasons. The first reason having the wrong priorities, and the second reason that there is a corruption. There is a corruption. I think that corruption and mismanagement on the one hand, corruption, call it corruption, and then it is the wrong priorities. Wrong priorities will say that do the things which are for the benefit of the elite class in the country and not for the general public, not for the commoners. These wrong priorities are actually, because of these wrong priorities, the the projects are being designed and carried on which are for the welfare of the elites in the country and not for the general public at all. That is the trouble number one. The resources are very limited indeed, and due to that, those limited resources, if at all these resources are consumed for the benefit of the upper class, for the benefit of the elites in the country, so this would actually mean that there is nothing or little left for the commoners, for the general public in Pakistan. So there will be little chance that these people will come forward, will be able to solve their problems, will be able to come out of the trouble and the sort of difficult situation in the state of a dilemma. And then corruption obviously mean, look upon what is happening here in the country. If at all any project, if at all it should last for 30 or 40 years, it will start deteriorating only after 1 year or even maybe lesser than that. That is something really, I think, very much troublesome, and our resources are being wasted because of the two reasons, because of the two reasons. And obviously, if at all, no matter how much long or deep consultations are held, we will come to a conclusion that there are only two basic problems and not beyond that. If at all we want to make the thing more and more intricate, if at all we want to make the more and more things complicated enough, that is okay. But if at all we want to simplify it, if at all we want to keep it simple as possible, then the right thing is, my dear friends, to understand that there are only two basic problems in the country. Obviously, the first one is that there are wrong priorities, and the second one is that there is a corruption, and there is a plenty of corruption. Unfortunately, we are one of the most corrupt countries on earth, maybe the number one or the number two most corrupt country in the world. That is the trouble. And this corruption actually mean that our resources will keep getting wasted, and fewer people will be keep getting richer and will be keep holding all or most of the resources in the country, and the resources of the country will not be able to reach to the will not be able to benefit the general public, the masses. I think the masses here, their condition is a miserable one, and they needs to be lifted on the priority basis, and something which really benefits them should be designed, should be planned, and should be executed, so that they could get a ray of hope that if at all they do stay in the country, they will be able to develop, they will be able to prosper, and they will be able to keep moving forward, they will be able to keep developing. I think which is their basic right, and which is the basic right of every citizen of Pakistan, like that of any other citizen. Because if at all their basic needs are meted out, they are provided with all the needed items which are the basic necessities. I think the state should take responsibility to provide the basic necessities to each and every citizen of Pakistan. The state needs to ensure it, and that is actually mean that the general public in Pakistan too are developing and will definitely develop.